Hello, good morning, Scary Champion, Psychic Medium. It just sounds strange every time I say it. We're not going to talk about the virus today. We're not going to talk about anything else, or I'm not going to. I'm sure you are. My wife and I have not mentioned it this morning. Um, but you can help me in a book. See, I can get your mind away from that, and you can give me something, and I'll put it in a book. It's the least you can do. Feel free to do it if you want to. If not, there's no pressure. This book is about paranormal experiences that I personally have had, lots of them, thousands of them, and I'm to the place in the chapter where I say that I've seen my grandfather appeared behind me. I was writing on a book, and he told me some information that was quite really valuable at the moment, and Civil War battlefield where I saw soldiers carrying other soldiers off. You can see them, but they're not really there. That's an imprint on time. The Civil War looks like it's still going on. It's not. It's just an imprint on time. If you've seen one of those, right, tell me about it. If you've seen the one where your grandfather appears behind you or your grandmother and tells you something important, or maybe just stands there, sometimes that happens. Then send me an email about it or put it in the comments next to this video and I'll include them in the book. It's not, my point is that I contend that everybody sees stuff all the time, but their brain doesn't allow it to really stick because it's so unusual. And now I know a lot of you out there, you're psychic, you're mediums, you're very sensitive, and that's why you watch my channel. That's why I'm doing the channel, is mostly to see if I can maybe make a difference. So these things happen all the time, but people who are more logically based dismiss them because that's their nature. It doesn't fit into how they were raised or what they believe or what somebody told them, or I have no idea why. But if you've had these experiences, sometimes they occur just as you're going to sleep because you're not here and you're not there, sort of in that nether world, and you're open. Your defenses are down, you're open to it. Um, I've had daydreams where I saw things that I know didn't exist, but I've been actually just sitting here and spirits go by. One happened in Chicago last week. I was eating supper again um, with my wife. We just spent 2 days doing this expo, and I saw something, and then I heard something, and I told my wife about it. And Monday morning, I followed up on it. That was a Sunday night, so the following Monday, just really a few hours, got on a plane and came back home. I followed up on that. I followed the information, and it was true. So everybody can receive visitations, and why they do it is I have no clue. I think just because they can, and they want to be close to you, and they want to show you who they are. Now these can be spirits that you didn't know in life. Um, Sometimes buildings have people in them that you don't know. They maybe originally lived there, and they occasionally show themselves to you. I've slept in hotels and heard voices of people long gone telling me things. Why? Because they probably lived there, were there enough that they sometimes come back. Yes, the word haunting is what you're looking for, but not as a scary thing, but just because you're curious. So if you have experienced a visitation where you've actually seen something, most of the time I don't. I just hear voices. They say, do this, do that. And like the Sunday previous to this, Monday morning, I called this company and did this thing, and it turned out to be true. And that's when market crashed, and that's when the venues started closing and all that. Well, I had prior knowledge of that and managed to get myself out of some stuff. They're just trying to help you, but it's not an unusual phenomenon. I think it's fairly normal. Kids probably see them all the time. So if you have an experience where you're in a house or you're sleeping or you're watching television, all of a sudden you can see, like I saw my grandfather behind me, and he gave me some really great advice, which he never gave me in real life. He was not he barely get 2 words out of the guy in a day. Yep. Okay. And now that he's gone, he's different. He's interesting. He's talkative, and gave me some really good advice. So I saw him standing in there in his long sleeve, kind of tan checked shirt, sort of little check things. And he had 2 pockets. He wouldn't have a shirt that didn't have 2 pockets. He kept his camels without filters in one, and an ink pen or two, and all that in the other one. And his hair was the same. His face was the same as when I knew him. That when I last saw him, that doesn't mean they would appear that way today. They appear that way because it's less frightening to you, and it's how you're going to remember them. They wouldn't appear 20 years older where you wouldn't recognize them. Off and I were watching a show last night. And we knew this face on this guy, but he's like 30 years older. We couldn't figure out who it was. We had to look it up. That, oh, now it makes sense. Yeah, okay. They wouldn't appear like that. They would appear as you remembered them last. They're not going to age 20 years and expect you to guess who they are. So if you've seen something like this or experienced it, not secondhand, my sister said this, that's no good. If you've actually experienced it, respond to this video in the comments section. Tell me about it. I'll copy it and paste it in the book. And if you want me to use your real name, I will. If you don't, I'll just use your first name, and you'll be a part of a book. I'm not sure I have a working title for it. I'm not sure that I'm working on about 4 books at once. And this is one I started last year and just dropped because it just wasn't going anywhere. And now all of a sudden I've got all these great ideas that happened that I got when I was in Chicago. Anyway, if you've seen these spirits, or if you've communicated with them in any way, let me know. Um, it's sort of down toward the end of the book where I have all these experiences and actual dialogue. I filmed most of these events and have transcribed it into the book. And it's word for word what was said because I still got the recordings. And this would just be another little addition. I'm writing about, actually there's a woman out there who mentioned me writing something in her book, and it would be something like that, but she's more interested in time, and these things actually occurred that were there. There's 2 things: the imprint on time, there's no spirit there to talk to, and apparitions where my grandfather was there and I could actually talk to him. I actually never do. I don't know why. You're so kind of in the moment and dreamy, and you just listen. So anybody that said that they communicated with the other side, I just find that hard to do. But anyway, we're not talking about the virus. The sky's not falling. We'll be okay. I just thought this might be something different, that if you wanted to add something to the book, you could, if you have something unique to say. And I'm sure, because I've seen a lot of comments that you guys are making, that some of you will. 4 or 5 of you have some great stories. Anyway, do something positive on what is today? Sunday. So no fear, no regret, no anger. Thanks for watching.